Every boy has a secret. This one finally came out. My name is Caio Almeida, and until 3 months ago, I was just another financial analyst trying to build my career. Ambitious? Yes. Dedicated? Definitely. My desk was the only one in the office without a forgotten coffee cup, a misplaced paper, or a missed deadline. 2 hours for morning exercise, 9 hours of impeccable work, 1 hour for professional development at night. That had been my rhythm for 2 years at Spencer and Associates. Mr. Spencer wasn't just my boss. He was my mentor, the professional I aspired to be someday. A respected businessman, relentlessly efficient, and, above all, demanding. He valued excellence, and somehow I'd managed to earn his trust, an achievement I didn't take lightly. It was on an ordinary Friday that everything changed. Mr. Spencer called me to his office, that room with a panoramic view of the city where important decisions were made. "Caio, I need a personal favor," he said, adjusting his sophisticated frame glasses. "I'll be out of the country for a week, urgent business in Europe. I need someone to look after my house, someone I trust." I accepted immediately. A week at the Spencer mansion? Of course. Another opportunity to show my competence and reliability. Another step up the ladder to success. That night, as I drove to the mansion in the exclusive outskirts of the city, I smiled thinking about the trust I had earned. If I had known what awaited me, I would have thought twice. While exploring the immense rooms with my small and meticulously organized suitcase, I heard a distinct noise coming from the pool area. My heart raced. There shouldn't be anyone there. The instructions were clear. The cleaning staff would only come on Wednesday. I picked up a heavy decorative vase from the hallway, the only available weapon, and walked slowly toward the sound. The glass door leading to the pool area was ajar. What awaited me was as unexpected as it was disturbing. A completely naked man was cutting through the pool water with powerful strokes. I stood paralyzed, the vase still raised in a frozen self-defense reflex. When he finally emerged at the edge of the pool and saw me, he didn't show even a hint of embarrassment. On the contrary, he shook his wet hair like in a shampoo commercial and smiled in my direction. "Ah, the new babysitter has arrived," he said, grabbing a towel and wrapping it carelessly around his waist. "Dad, always so predictable." "Ryan Blake," he introduced himself, extending his wet hand. "I live here, sometimes, when I'm not being a disappointment to the family." Ryan was tall, with broad shoulders and a smile that mixed charm and arrogance in equal doses. The kind of man who knows exactly the effect he causes. After a call to Mr. Spencer, I discovered that yes, Ryan would be present, and part of my job was to ensure he didn't cause problems. The first days were a real test of patience. Ryan seemed determined to test my limits in every possible way. He walked around the house wearing only underwear, left wet towels in every imaginable place, and had a remarkable inability to use glasses, drinking juice directly from the carton. On the third night, I found cars parking at the entrance. Ryan had invited friends without consulting me. "Sorry, party canceled," I announced firmly while Ryan protested behind me. "Come on, Caio. It's just a few friends." After everyone left, Ryan looked at me with a mixture of irritation and curiosity. "Have you always been such a stickler, or is the stick up your ass a recent acquisition?" "Some of us have responsibilities, Mr. Blake," I replied dryly. After almost a week of constant battles, I realized I needed to change my strategy. Preventing Ryan from living his life was only creating more tension between us. "I have a proposal," I said while Ryan watched some reality show, sprawled on the leather sofa. "I won't interfere if you bring just a few friends. No huge parties, no drugs, no destroying the house." Ryan accepted the deal with a quickness I found suspicious. That same night, I kept my word and retired to the guest room. Around 11, my stomach growled, reminding me that I had skipped dinner. I quietly went down to the kitchen. Ryan's voice sounded from the living room, accompanied by 3 others. I grabbed some snacks and was about to return when I heard a more aggressive tone. "Come on, Blake, don't be weak. One more shot." The voice wasn't Ryan's, but one of his friends. I've had enough, man. I have to wake up early tomorrow. Since when do you care about waking up early? Drink this shit already? Peeking through the door, I saw a young man with an altered appearance pressing a glass against Ryan's chest, who looked uncomfortable. Time to go, I announced, entering the room. Ryan has commitments tomorrow, and you're overstepping boundaries. The aggressive friend laughed. And who are you? The boyfriend? I'm the person who will call the condominium security if you don't leave in 5 minutes, I replied with a coldness I didn't know I possessed. To my surprise, Ryan stood up next to me. He's right, guys. Let's leave it for another day. After the three left, we stood in uncomfortable silence. Your friends are terrible, I finally commented. Ryan smiled weakly. I know. In the days that followed, Ryan stopped trying to organize gatherings. Instead, he began to seek my company. Gradually, I found myself looking forward to these shared moments. On a particularly quiet night, Ryan appeared with 2 craft beers. Truce time? The conversation flowed surprisingly easily. Ryan talked about losing his mother at 12 and how it distanced him from his father, who immersed himself in work to deal with grief. I think I've been trying to get his attention ever since, Ryan admitted, even if it's by giving him reasons to reprimand me. I shared my own story, growing up as a biracial child in a small town, the stares, the intrusive questions, the constant pressure to prove my worth. When the week ended and I started packing my things, Ryan helped me carry my suitcase to the car. I'll miss you, he murmured, so low I almost thought I'd imagined it. 3 days of peace. That's all I had before my carefully restored routine was interrupted again. I returned from lunch on Wednesday and found Ryan Blake comfortably installed in my chair, spinning from side to side. What are you doing here? I asked in an urgent whisper, checking if Mr. Spencer was around. Ryan smiled, rising with the casual elegance that seemed natural to him. I came to see the place where my father spends more time than at home. You can't just show up like this, I muttered through my teeth. This is my workplace. Technically, it's my father's workplace, he replied with an annoyingly charming smile. Besides, I brought coffee for you. Latte with an extra shot and no sugar, right? I was surprised he had noticed how I took my coffee. That afternoon, Ryan toured the office and, to my complete dismay, Mr. Spencer found him on the way out. Instead of the reprimand I expected, my boss seemed genuinely pleased. Kaio, he said later, tapping lightly on my shoulder. I don't know what you said to Ryan during that week, but it seems you've finally sparked some interest in him for the family business. I'm grateful. From that day on, Ryan began to appear regularly. Sometimes he brought coffee or lunch, other times he just sat in an empty chair near my desk. To my surprise, he even asked occasional questions about the work. Let's have dinner tonight, Ryan suggested after 2 weeks of office appearances. I can't mix work and whatever this is, I replied, gesturing vaguely between us. This is a date, Kaio, Ryan explained patiently. You know, when 2 people who like each other go out together, eat something, maybe kiss at the end. Ryan didn't give up. For the following weeks, he continued with invitations for dinners, concerts, even a weekend trip. Each refusal of mine seemed only to increase his determination. I built everything with so much effort, I lamented one night. How could I risk it all for a fling? Something in my voice must have sounded different, because Ryan looked at me with unusual seriousness. What if it's not just a fling? Cornered between my growing feelings and my fear of compromising my career, I proposed an impulsive deal. If you do well on your college exams, we'll have a date. It was an ultimatum that I was sure Ryan wouldn't take seriously. Ryan attended business administration college more as a hobby than a real commitment. His grades were mediocre at best. Deal, he replied with surprising conviction. Then, silence. Ryan disappeared completely for 3 weeks. No visits, no messages, nothing. When I had convinced myself that he had moved on, Ryan appeared again. He walked directly to my desk and threw a folder containing several exams on it, all with A grades. "You promised," he said with a victorious smile. When Ryan honked in front of my apartment, I expected to see him at an elegant restaurant or maybe at a cinema. Instead, he parked in front of a worn-looking nightclub with a line extending around the block. "A rock show?" I asked, observing the people around, all dressed in much more black than I had ever had in my wardrobe. "Not just a rock show," Ryan corrected, pulling my hand toward the VIP entrance. "The best show of the year." The interior was exactly as I feared. Loud, crowded, with strobe lights and low visibility. I felt my chest tighten with growing anxiety. Ryan must have noticed my expression because he came closer, placing an arm around me. "Are you okay?" he asked near my ear, the heat of his body strangely comforting amid the chaos. To my surprise, the night evolved in a completely unexpected way. The energy of the crowd was contagious. Soon, I found myself singing along to songs I had never heard before, jumping to the rhythm of the drums, my fingers firmly intertwined with Ryan's. During a slower song, the lights dimmed, and Ryan pulled me closer. His eyes, reflecting the stage lights, fixed on mine with a disconcerting intensity. "You're ethereal," he whispered, so close I could feel his breath. "I can't stop looking." At that moment, I completely forgot where we were. I forgot Mr. Spencer, my career, the complications. In an impulse I never imagined having, I eliminated the distance between us and kissed him. After the show, we went to a nearby bar. Everything was perfect. Until the moment we ran into Jonathan, one of Ryan's friends that I recognized from the mansion. He seemed altered, dilated pupils, erratic movements. As we left the bar hours later, we crossed paths with two patrol officers. Ryan, intoxicated by the combination of alcohol and adrenaline, decided to make a joke about the serious appearance of the officers. Jonathan, clearly disturbed by the police presence, tried to move away quickly, dropping a backpack. One of the officers picked it up, finding packages of substances that were certainly not legal. In a matter of minutes, we were against the wall, being searched. Then, handcuffed and escorted to the police car. "It's going to be okay," Ryan murmured as we were taken to the police station. "Trust me." But looking at my handcuffed hands, all I could think about was my career crumbling before my eyes. After endless hours, a policeman appeared and called us. "Almeida and Blake, you're free to go." At the exit of the police station, I perfectly understood what had happened. Standing next to an impeccable black Mercedes was Mr. Spencer, his face a mask of controlled disappointment. "Get in," he ordered dryly. The trip was dominated by a suffocating silence. Only when we parked in front of my building did Mr. Spencer speak again. "Ryan, wait in the car. I need a moment with Mr. Almeida." "Caio," my boss began, his voice carefully measured. "I've always considered you an exemplary professional, someone with good sense. Clearly I was mistaken." "Sir, I can explain." "There's no need," he interrupted. "What you do off duty is your business. But when you drag my son into situations that can compromise not only his reputation, but that of the family and the company, it becomes my problem." During the weekend, I ignored all calls and messages from Ryan. On Monday, when I arrived at the office, Mr. Spencer acted as if nothing had happened, although his treatment was noticeably colder. On the way out, Ryan was waiting for me in the lobby. "Why are you avoiding me?" he asked, holding my arm when I walked straight past, determined to avoid him. "You got me arrested," I exploded. "Look, in the end, everything turned out fine, didn't it?" My father resolved. "That's exactly the problem," I interrupted. "Of course it's not a big deal for you. If I had a father who got me out of any trouble, I wouldn't care about anything either." Ryan observed me for a long moment, his eyes searching for something in my face. Perhaps a hesitation, a crack. I didn't give him that comfort. Are you sure about this? He finally asked. I nodded, ignoring the knot in my throat. I am. 3 months passed like slow torture. Although my routine had returned to what it was before Ryan, meticulous, predictable, productive, something was different. I was different. I found myself thinking about him at random moments, but I kept my focus. Work continued to be my refuge, even with Mr. Spencer maintaining our relationship strictly professional. It was an ordinary Tuesday when everything changed again. I entered the office as always, coffee in hand, organized folder under my arm. From afar, I noticed someone in the printer area who seemed strangely familiar. When the figure turned, my heart skipped a beat. It was Ryan, but not the Ryan I knew. His hair, once longer and messy, was short and well cut. Instead of the casual clothes he used to wear during his office visits, he wore a well-fitted suit that enhanced his broad shoulders. But more surprising than his appearance was his posture. Upright, attentive, professional. Ryan, I said, trying to disguise my surprise. What are you doing here? He held up the papers he was holding. I graduated, he said with evident pride, pointing to his formal attire. I started working here as an intern in the financial department. I'm trying, he replied with a more restrained smile than usual. I decided to take life more seriously after someone practically said I was irresponsible, stupid, and privileged. Before I could respond, a familiar voice interrupted us. Ah, you've already met, commented Mr. Spencer, approaching. To my absolute surprise, he placed his hand on Ryan's shoulder with evident approval. Ryan, I need those reports for the 2 o'clock meeting. They'll be ready in 15 minutes, Dad, Ryan replied with a calm confidence that I'd never associated with him. He's doing well, my boss commented, surprising me. Really taking things seriously for the first time. In the weeks that followed, Ryan and I began to bump into each other with increasing frequency in the hallways, in the cafeteria, in departmental meetings. Gradually, he suggested we have lunch together, as friends. During these lunches, I discovered a Ryan I didn't know before. He spoke enthusiastically about projects, demonstrated surprising knowledge about the financial market, asked intelligent questions. The charm, the sense of humor, the smile that made my stomach flip were still there, but now all this involved a solid core of purpose. During a particularly pleasant lunch at a small cafe near the office, I observed Ryan as he animatedly explained an investment strategy he had developed. His eyes sparkled, his hands gestured with precision, and his voice carried a genuine confidence that was completely different from the carefree arrogance of before. It was like being hit by a ray of clarity. I loved this new Ryan, responsible but still vibrant, mature, but without losing that spark of spontaneity that first attracted me. And maybe, just maybe, I was different too, less rigid, more willing to take risks. In the middle of his explanation about interest rates and investment returns, I grabbed his tie and pulled him in for a kiss. When we separated, Ryan's face showed genuine surprise. Wow, Kaio, how about taking it slow? He teased, that irresistible smile returning to his lips. You're being a bit reckless. The following days were an emotional roller coaster. We picked up where we had left off, but with a new maturity that made everything more intense, more real. Ryan respected my space at the office, keeping our relationship discreet during work hours. Still, Mr. Spencer's shadow loomed over us. I confessed my fear to Ryan one night. Your father will never approve of this. Not after everything. Ryan laughed, surprising me. Are you kidding? He holds you in high regard. He even gave me that "don't mess it up this time" talk. He knows about us? My father built a financial empire from scratch. Do you really think he hasn't noticed what's going on? This time, we were honest from the start. No games, no hiding feelings. We openly admitted what we wanted from each other and discussed how to balance our personal relationship with the professional environment. Ryan secured a permanent position in the financial department on his own merit, impressing even the most skeptical with his dedication and natural talent for business. I was promoted to senior manager, finally reaching the position I had so desired. Looking out the window of my new and larger office, I saw the city that once seemed like a professional battlefield. The same urban landscape, but my perspective was completely different now. People say love and career don't mix. Maybe they're right, most of the time. But sometimes the right person doesn't just fit into your life, but expands it, transforms limitations into possibilities, fears into opportunities. Ryan taught me to be less rigid, to enjoy life beyond professional ambitions. And maybe I helped Ryan find his purpose, channel his potential into something. It started awkward, but it changed everything. Hit subscribe for more stories that go where you don't expect.